into that sort of being that sort of direction?
Do you know what? Like, there's loads of shit, man. Sorry, I can't swear. It's all to do. I mean, our music is pretty much production based, like, and everything we do with a track. If we can do something new or try and use a technique that we haven't used before or something like that, it's good for us because we can learn and, you know, just crack on basically. I mean, I come from a sound engineering background, so sort of tweaking is in my sort of day-to-day routine as it is anyway. So yeah, we just listen to a lot of music in itself and try to just be slightly, you know, different from.
Try and bring something fresh to the table, basically.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously it's a big cliche. Yeah, that was a stone sort of 5 AM session. You know what I mean? That shit comes out. That's what's good because we do sort of, we have a laugh, man. Like the
tunes on the vocal samples as well.
Oh, okay.
That's me actually. Yeah. No, not many people know that actually. In fact, the plant feed was me as well. Everything. Yeah, so a lot of the stuff comes from, you know, spontaneity and being creative in the studio, and, you know, we try a lot of weird things, like we like to root shit through guitar cabs and play about with live instruments and all that kind of stuff, and we're looking at buying a set of V-drums and do some nut stuff basically. But yeah, like, it's all about just the sort of trying to be a bit different sonically, more than, as well as musically. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I'm not going to try and sit back and say we're like different from everyone else and we're trying to do this big new thing, but yeah, at least as long as the production and the focus is on the production and trying to put a quality product out, yeah, that's it.
So let's take it back to the past where you guys come from. What led you into dubstep?
Well, I was a massive drum and bass head basically. So when I heard dubstep, obviously it's like a
natural progression.
Yeah, that's it. It's the filth that was there, and that's it. Ollie was a fairly different musical background, but he's getting me into all his metal nowadays as well.
I used to play in a heavy metal band.
What did you play?
I used to love it. I was playing guitar. But yeah, I mean, that's a big part of sort of, you know, the drum sound that we get and all that type of stuff. It's all the sort of driving. If you listen to like you know, bass heavy dance music, you listen to sort of studio produced heavy, you know, metal music, be it whatever, you're getting off on the same thing. You know,
yeah,
I think it's the same sort of like, it's a completely different cultural background, usually sort of from where I'm from anyway, what people listen to, and it's sort of usually closely linked with the clothes you wear and all the type of stuff like that. But for me, it's always been just, you know, what I, you know, sort of learning about sound and sort of enjoying different techniques and seeing what different people do and all the, you know, kind of different stuff that people are up to, and trying to get it all, everything that we like, into tunes pretty much. Yeah. You know what I mean?
There's a lot of influence from all sorts of genres, man. There's listens to everything. Everyone does, isn't they, growing up? There's never any like one thing that I was listening to. But there's loads.
Everybody
listen to Bjork. Tip of the day, you know.
A lot of people that we spoke to, everybody that we speak to, who always read the mum and dad's record, well, mainly the dad's record collection.
Everyone's got their, mum and dad. I mean, ours is pretty. I mean, my grandma lives sort of by a river, and she had a flood, and then all my uncle's vinyl was trashed, so I had to sort of go in there and save it all, and ended up commandeering a whole load of free vinyl. So we had a lot of stuff, a lot of ideas. I mean, we do a lot, obviously sample, but the joy is really in recreating stuff, man. I mean, the old school sampling stuff, people, you know, a few people on the scene doing it. Yeah, it's just, I mean, I'm sure we're going to get into stuff like that.
Yeah,
but I mean, I think we did a drum step boot of like a Jethro Tull tune, which was just really wicked. Do you know what I mean? It will never see the light of day. But yeah, you know, just little weird hooks, and you find bits and stuff that you vibe off, and yeah, sit in the studio all day, and it's going to happen.
Let's move on to the studio. Then, when you go into a studio, what is the main thing you're looking for?
Oh, mate, our studio is in my yard. We used to have like just a garage basically, and then started toying around with the idea of, you know, soundproofing it and sort of getting a bit of stuff in there, because the main thing when you're writing a beat and you've got a studio is you need to have your monitors and your room sounding nice. So yeah, basically the way we did it, I found a geezer who was like looking for an office space for 6 months, and he happened to be like a bit of a labourer as well. So I said to him, look, do you want to, do you want to sort of put some of the money that you would have paid in rent towards materials? And so we ended up just sort of converting the garage into a studio, built a live room, treated it, and then after that I was sort of doing engineering jobs, recording sort of bands and vocals in the studio and stuff. And that sort of paid for this sort of treatment and some equipment and bits and pieces, and now I've been on the road. And yeah, I mean, a lot of our money does go back into studio equipment. I mean, I'd love to go and do, you know, a course and some bits and pieces, but yeah, at the moment it's just, you know, it's going well, so I can't complain. But I think the main thing is really just sitting in the studio and forcing myself to try new things and just play around with equipment. And there's so many people that don't, that, you know, you might get producers that say to me, oh, how do you get that sound? So all it is just sitting there really, tweaking, yeah, and finding bits and pieces that you like and making them work together.
We're in the studio from morning till night as well, so that's where my shit comes from, just sitting around playing with stuff, man. Just all day long, every day, yeah, that's it.
So what piece of kit do you use? MPCs, Zakai's, or
not really?
Any outboards at all?
I mean, first, rather than MPC, I've got oh, don't ask me the model number of it. It's a little Aqua, I think. Might as well be an MPC. It's like an MPD 16 or something. But yeah, I mean, just sort of trigger pads, MIDI keyboards. Right. We usually write a lot of the stuff in Logic with a host of sort of software out. We use a bit of Abram compression.
So you do your own mastering as well?
Nah, master. From time to time, someone's equipment to master. You know what I mean? That's sort of the service that we do. Like, we'll say, you know, we'll master it, but no, I mean, usually the mastering goes through final tweaking up, or you know, a few of the sort of London mastering houses that do it. But the mixdown, yeah, the mixdown is solely in house. We just do everything from every single part of that track. There's been no one that's touched it apart from me and Dan.
Converted. Ollie was saying earlier about we've got a little live room and now we've converted that into like a room 2 production suite as well, so whoever's in the room once they're working on a remix, there can be another one of us in there working on an idea sort of thing, so there's monitors in there and everything a lot. So
yeah, we've been quite lucky with, I mean it's like I say, I've been doing it for a while, so Danny, and yeah, we've amassed a certain amount of equipment over the years, and I'm lucky to have a space, you know, I'm lucky to have a geezer come along who was a labourer and help me build a studio at the end of the day. So really, I mean that's it. I mean Danny will wake me up at midday every day with like a Ochi's or some kebab or something like that and just like throw a stone at the window and go, get up, and then honestly man, it's like every single day. I'm up till like 4 or 5 in the morning writing on beats or working something out, I don't know, or just danger wanking or something. But yeah, and then I'll go to sleep, and then I'll go to sleep, and Danny will wake me up about midday, and we'll crack on. And then usually I'll leave Danny for like 2 hours and have a shower and shit, and then we just come down and it works. Like, if we were like really hardcore on it every minute of the day, I don't think we get the results. You know,
we're always there, but you've got to chill out.
You have some fun and you've got to take it.
Yeah, it is fun all day long, man. That's the thing. That's why the results come out.
So let's move up to present day now. What have you guys? I know you've got quite a back catalogue of tracks.
Too many remixes on at the moment, which is good.
Yeah.
But
anything you can talk about now? Or yeah.
There's there's a few bits that will be coming out and dented, hopefully, which is a remix of a Medicines track featuring Scrine, a geezer known as Meds. He produces hip hop and stuff. He's done a track with Scrine, and Plan B's done like an acoustic remix, I think, as well. We've just finished that off and they're all feeling it. We're also doing a remix for Foreign Beggars, Hold On. It's one of the first tracks, I don't know if you know it, for Silent Speakers. Might put that out as like a one release sort of thing. The VIP did a remix of a tune called Ignition, that's on its way out on Hardcore Beats.
It's been a string of like sort of I mean our sort of career is stemmed. I mean we put sort of a few tunes out, we gave a few bits out for free, and then as the bookings come in, you sort of tend as an artist to get a few more remixes, and I think we maybe should have said no to a few remixes. And yeah, I mean we've just finished like a string of like 10 or 12 remixes, and it's great. I mean the remixes keep you going and they're good fun to do, and you can sort of cross over to other genres and but at the same time, you know, you really got to, I think the original stuff that you make it makes more of a stamp on sort of music.
It takes you away from what you really do.
Yeah. I mean, remixes are fun, and do you know what I mean, and all this type of stuff, and they pay the bills and all this. But yeah, the real way you can really express yourself is in the original music, because you're not always taking you know, like someone else's parts or this. I mean, to be honest, if we do a remix, we'll only ever use like one part, like usually anyway, like just the vocal, because what's the point of doing a remix if you're going to use all their parts, really? That's it, man. It's production heavy, man. That's we don't. I don't want someone to come back and go, oh, that was shit. You know, you use that or whatever. But yeah, man.
So let's talk a bit about the original tracks then. You spend a lot of time on your actual tracks themselves. You know, we spoke to Noize, and Noize, like Martin, he said from Noize, like some tracks, some years they don't even bring a tune out. You know, they'll spend the whole CPU on one particular Noize. You guys like that as well?
Well, I think
Noize are on another level, man.
Different level altogether.
They're like cyborgs, man. They're just Dutch cyborgs who
can't
seem
complain
to,
with
yeah. Big up Noize, man. They're seriously, they're really
massive influence.
Anyone who takes something and does it really well, I think is, you know, and everything that has got Noize on it is pretty quality. So
true. But with you guys yourselves, is that with the way that you work? Do you, or like you said, I know you said that you just had a string of 12 remixes that you've done together.
Yeah.
Do you usually like to spend quality time in one track before you actually release it, or do you just try and churn them out?
Well, we don't ever try and churn them out, because it's just like we do like to spend time. Like Ollie was saying earlier, perfect them sort of thing, get them sounding as nice as we like to sound them. With the remixes, you are sometimes on a deadline, you know, so you've got to rush a bit. But yeah, man, all about spending, you know, a good amount of time on tunes. But then again, some tracks come in 2 minutes, like Plant Food, which I think we wrote that in what, 2-3 days.
3 days, yeah. Right.
Just because the whole meow thing came around.
That was big. Do you know what I mean? I think I was up about 3 in the morning to do a couple of things, and by the time he turned up in the morning, it was coming together, and then we just sort of worked on it. And you know, there used to be 3 members of Noize, which is sort of, there's only 2 members now. Like, I mean, basically, just sort of third member went his own way, did his own thing. But having sort of at least more than one person anyway, do you know what I mean? It sort of lets you. You can be a lot more sort of lenient with the time, and I'm not saying be lazy, but
more relaxed about
you
things.
can be relaxed and you can have a laugh and sort of, you know, leave, just go do that or do this, and sort of I get told what to do, and then he's I think a big thing is also when to know that something's bad, to know that an edit. I mean, you might really love something, and then you know someone might think it's not good or something like that. I mean, as long as you know what's good and what's bad, and you can draw that line. Yeah. You won't go too far wrong, I think, but it's definitely, you've got to know what's bad.
Let's move to the future. What can we expect from Noize? We've got the album coming out. Anything that we should...
Not yet. We've just discussed, we've discussed between each other and that, when it's time to do an album, do you know what I mean? We'll do an album, but we'd like it to be flawless album.
If we do an album, it would have to be an album. Like we'd have to go into. I wouldn't want to do an album in our studio. I'd like to write it in our studio and then move on and use someone else's expertise for sort of the mix down and stuff like that. To try and get a real nice package. I'd like to be able to spend 100% of our time on a composition of a product and not have to go sort of, you know, talking to the mastering houses and sort of extra bits and pieces. But yeah, I mean that's with writing an album. I think you've got. There's a lot of people come out and write albums too quickly. It would take us, a year, I reckon, to write an album. Honestly, I reckon it would take us about, to write, 20-30 tracks that you need for an album.
That's right, yeah, you have to write double what's on the album as well to break it down, sort of thing.
Yeah. But we're thinking, we're about to start a label as well, sort of, since we're going to sort of come up with a name. That's the problem, launch the label.
Just a name.
Everything's there, just not the name.
Yeah.
Might as well just call it, and that's all a label is, man, it's the name. But
hopefully all our next original stuff will be slowly bleeding onto our own imprint, which would be nice. But expect a string of remixes basically, because that's all we've been doing for the
We'll let you know now that there's like a few remixes in the bank that are coming out.
But then getting back to the original.
New stuff in Venom is probably November, to be honest. That's when we're looking at getting the tunes in the schedule for.
So up till then you're just going to keep on touring, DJing, sort of wise?
Yeah, I mean, the more time we have to write, the better the music will be.